Good afternoon, everybody. Today we're going to make a very simple recipe. We're going to make a New Orleans style crab cake. We're going to use a really nice Chesapeake Bay blue crab. When you buy this crab, you're going to see several different levels of it in the supermarket. You're going to see the jumbo lump, you're going to see the lump, you're going to see claw meat, you're going to see back fin, you're going to see something called special sometimes. Basically all has good crab flavor, just different quality in the chunks of the meat. What we chose today was just a regular lump crab meat. To go along with this, we're going to make a Creole mustard sauce, and I'm going to start that first on our PIC. I'm going to go up to a medium heat, 275, and here we're going to take a little butter, and notice I have another pat left. We're going to save that to finish the sauce. I'll show you that later. A little butter we're going to get melted in here. Once the butter melts, I can bring the heat up a little higher. I just want to make sure it doesn't brown or burn in the pan originally. So we go to medium-high, and we're going to add our mustard. We have some grain mustard here, Creole mustard. You see it's a whole seed mustard in here. I'm actually just going to let this cook in here with the butter. This is about 2.5 tablespoons. You can hear that sizzle. Got my non-stick pan, my perfect greenware. It doesn't even stick, it's beautiful. Just make sure you use silicone in here, nothing metal. It's gonna give off a heady vinegar smell, a heady mustard smell, and also both mustards are made with white wine, so you're gonna get that smell as well. This stage, I'm gonna add a good hefty pinch of freshly ground black pepper, so that can heat up in there in the oils when the pepper can start coming out. And then, because we don't have to cook mustard too far, it's a condiment. I just want to heat it up and get the flavor coming. I'm going to add 2.5 tablespoons of the Dijon. It's going to give us a really beautiful, pale, sun yellow type of sauce. And the last two ingredients that are going to go in here, once this mustard heats up, it's going to be a little bit more white wine to refresh what we just heated up in the mustard. We're going to finish ours with some beef stock. But also recommend you can use vegetable stock, you can use chicken stock, you can use plain water if you had to. I like the robust flavor of the beef stock, that's why I'm going to use it. If you're making this for vegetarians, people that don't eat meat, go to vegetable stock, because crab, obviously. Hit it with our wine. Got a nice little sizzle. The mustard is going to do two things in the sauce. Obviously, it's the base of the flavor. It's a mustard sauce. But believe it or not, the mustard, just because of its chemical properties, it's actually going to thicken the sauce when we finish it with some cream. So the wine's in, the mustard's in, beautiful aroma coming out. Here goes my stock. That brings the temperature back down. But you're going to see when this comes back to temperature, the mustard's going to start thickening the stock. We're going to finish the sauce with some heavy cream, and then we're going to go ahead and make the crab cakes, show you how to form them, and brown them off on our PIC. As soon as we come back. Okay, everybody, we're back. We're gonna finish our beautiful mustard sauce. You can see that it's thickened really well because of the mustard. It's thickened up the beef stock that we put in there, very nice. I'm gonna finish it with just a touch of heavy cream. I'm gonna give you a little luxury to this. And as this is simmering, we're gonna finish this with chives and a little cold butter to give it a nice shine. While that's going over here, I've got this set on medium-high. This way it doesn't boil over. This is one of the things I love about the PIC, control the temperature. I'm gonna come over here. I have this warming up on 100. See, I can almost put my hand in there. It's not that hot, but I'm ready. It's warm. I can move it up when I'm ready to saute my crab cakes. First ingredient, I've got my lump crab. Now they come from the factory already picked. This is fresh, it's not frozen. They pick it over for shells, but I guarantee you're gonna find a shell. But it's a natural food, comes from the earth. Shell's not the worst thing in the world. But I did pick over it again. Hopefully I did it right. We're gonna take a little pinch of salt, not much, again, because this is from the ocean. It already, by its nature, has a salty taste. Secret seasoning, if you're from the Baltimore, Maryland area, you know all about Old Bay seasoning. It's a secret blend of spices. I know there's paprika, cayenne, black pepper, but it's a classic taste of a crab cake, what I love. Next, I have a couple aromatics. I've got celery, gonna give it a nice crunch, and also some moisture. Celery has a high water content. Bell pepper for sweetness and color. Incidentally, these are chopped really small dice. I've got chive for that onion flavor, that bright green onion flavor that I love so much. And then we have two last final ingredients. Panko breadcrumbs. If you don't know what panko, P-A-N-K-O breadcrumbs are, it's a Japanese style breadcrumb. You can see they're very white, they're very pure, there's no additives to it. It gives you a nice crunch. We're gonna use this actually to bind the crab cake. And I've got my eggs. The eggs are gonna be what's gonna help bind this. Put my eggs in straight away. That's beautiful. My spoon. A lot of things you can put in crab cakes. I know there's millions of recipes out there. I like to have my crab cake taste like crab. So all the ingredients that are in here are accent ingredients. The celery, the bell pepper, even the Old Bay. These are accent. You still want to taste the crab. The egg is just to bind it. The protein's going to help hold together. Mix with the breadcrumbs, which go in next. And the breadcrumbs, I don't want to stretch this out too far. I want my friends, my family to taste crab. So I'm only going to put in about 1 part to 2 parts crab. So I've got 2 cups of crab in here. I've only got a cup of breadcrumbs. Some recipes call them having equal amounts, but I think it tastes too bready. Now it starts coming together, and this is the part where you can get your rubber spatula in here or your hand. You can see it just holds together, and this is what I'm looking for. Remember, my crab is cooked, all right? It comes already in the cap, fully steamed, okay? So let me take a second here and finish the sauce so we can turn it off. You get a nice thickness, a nice reduction on the sauce, you can see, and you're gonna see this on the plate. I'm gonna turn it off. Then I'm gonna leave it on low, which is only 100 degrees. And that's just gonna keep it nice and warm. This way it doesn't separate. Finish it with my chives. Again, bright green, oniony flavor, and a little piece of cold butter. I add the cold butter to the sauce when the sauce is not boiling. If I were to add it in there when the sauce is boiling, there's good potential that the sauce could actually break or separate. The butter's just giving a nice mouthfeel and a nice, really nice shine on the plate. When you put the cold butter in any sauce, you have to keep stirring until the butter's all gone. Otherwise the oil will separate out, float on the top of your sauce. It looks terrible. That's just beautiful, look at that. Okay, now over here, let's move up to medium high. I'm gonna add my butter. You can cook this, again, this is our Perfect Green nonstick pan. You can cook this pretty much without anything in here. You don't need oil, fat. You could put a little olive oil in here. The reason I'm putting butter is simply because of the flavor. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna plate a couple of these up. I just do it right in my hand. If you have an ice cream scoopers work great for this. It's also something fun to get your kids involved. I'm gonna make 4 nice little patties. I'm gonna set them on my plate. I'll show you a real trick quick. A quick trick I'll show you real quickly. So this is the crab cake how I like them, all right? They're not bound together, they're not gluey. It's basically mixed crab, lightly bound together. But if you'd like a little extra crunch on them, on the outside, I'll show you a quick trick we can do. And basically, we're going to have the return of our panko breadcrumb. And quite simply, what I'm going to do is just take my crab cake and re-dip it in the breadcrumb. It just gives a little extra crust on the outside. So I'll put the plate here and you can see the difference. So here's my panko crusted. Let's do 2 of those. And then we'll do 2 just in the raw state the way I like them. I make a mess with breadcrumbs. I think my hands are bigger than the bowl. All right, butter's coming along nice. You can hear the sizzle. Go right ahead and put the breaded ones in first. Clean off my hands. And I'm going to show you guys how to plate this. Again, these are the freeform ones, but you see they still hold together. It's just a minimum amount of breadcrumb in the egg. This is going to give you a little bit more of a natural flavor, but the ones with the panko crust on the outside, very good too. So these are going to brown off on a medium-high heat. When we come back, I'm going to show you how to plate them up and use our fantastic mustard sauce as soon as we return. Okay, welcome back. I'm going to show you how to finish plating up our crab cakes today with our Creole mustard sauce. If you can see here in the pan, I did 2 earlier, the same recipe, but just coated the outside of one with the panko breadcrumbs, give it a little extra crust, and then the other ones are just the natural ones that I like to have the panko binding it. So let me show you how to plate these up. Got my silicone spatula for my nonstick pan. These are the panko ones, and you can probably see you get a nice brown, almost that chicken fried crust on there. I like that. So we'll do 1 and 1 on each of these on the outside. I'll show you 2 different sauce techniques on the same plate. So the first sauce technique, and I'm going to use my metal spoon, but I'm going to be very careful not to scratch the bottom, is the sauce over. We'll take our sauce, and we're just going to go right over the top and let it run off. Okay, this way you have a little on the plate, and you have a little bit soaking in to the actual dish that you're saucing. Okay, so this is a little off to the side. And the other technique is very simple. We're just going to sauce the bottom of the plate. You can see, hopefully you can see this sauce, how thick it's become from reducing with the mustard and the cheese. I wipe my plate a little bit. I take my last crab cake. And this is the one I call the natural one. Although they're all the exact same recipe except the crumbs on the outside. And that's it, very simple. So this is our New Orleans style crab cake Creole mustard sauce.